Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to my channel. Here we are with another project and simultaneously grieving the summer because it's over and we're all gonna die and so on and so forth, but never mind because we are here again and let's have fun. So as I'm much grieving summer as every summer child must do, I have to take a new project because this is Halloween, my folks, and this is my time to shine. So I ripped out my trusty bag of memories and I decided on a new project. And this was remaking one of my all-time favorite, well, horror movie dress, if you might say. And this is the famous or infamous butterfly gown from the movie Crimson Peak. I have a lot of emotional connection to this film. I know it's sappy, I know it's very much a romantic movie, and this is highly unlikely that one of our females or actually would confess that likes this movie. I do like this movie for different reasons. One including that it required many practical effects and prosthetics and makeup, which I am a much more a fan of than digital effects. I also love subtle symbolism. Guillermo del Toro, as always, forever, in every of his movies, yes, even in the fishy ones. I love him for forever, and if you know my tattoos, you know that few of them are actually could be found on me. So, back to construction this beautiful piece. One of my biggest struggle was to find an appropriate fabric for this budget, but of course not really overpriced dress. This is simple, looks like a simple dress. It is. I did already have patterns for it. I did not needed much of a digging to find some appropriate pattern for it, but it was a struggle to find a perfect fabric for this piece. My objective was, of course, to find something that has gravity over quality. And since this gown requires a lot of not just flowiness, but drapiness without being over trimmed or over rouged, this was indeed a challenge. So the construction of the bodice wasn't a particularly big project for me. I did already have it in my drawer, and I just had to make some certain modifications on it to fit actually to the style of the bodice that it requires. Well, the skirt wasn't very much a tricky one. It was very long, and it was insistent to swirl around my ankles and just tie me up in a happy little bunch, but I resisted that and did not trip on that every time, I swear. But which made me very, very intrigued was the decoration. So as we do not have too much instructions on this dress, we do not have a pattern that was actually issued after the film came out. We do not have specific close-ups on the brush or on the decoration of the dress. We only have some fashion plates that actually inspire the dress or could have inspired the dress, and that's only what we have. So, as it is, I am not ashamed to make something similar instead of sheepishly copying something that is issued after the film came out, because we have none. We only have this, and this is what we have to work with. The challenge that was very intriguing in constructing the bodice was that how to create an effect of no drape with draping, because you can see that there is some incidental drapings on the bodies. You can see that there is some folds here, some folds there, but we had to create it as it is an accidental. It's part of the movement, it's part of the fabric moving. But on the other hand, we are well aware that these bodices were constructed, were like a full construction. These were not a flowing stuff, unlike the skirt, which can go wherever it wants. The bodice was actually well made to be durable. It was lightly boned, because I can see on the picture, and it made to last. This is why I decided that while I'm constructing the bodice, I'm going to make a base layer and bone the base layer, and above the base layer I'm going to drape on the fashion fabric with those incidental drapes and folds, like here and there, to look like it's a flowy, effortless, beautiful thing. It's delicate as a butterfly. It's fragile. You know what I mean. Just look at the original piece. Obviously, it's made from some quality fabric instead of my haberdashery found mostly polyester thing, but why I chose my fabric, because it has gravity and it has drapeability. And I chose my base layer, which is actually canvas, because it can hold, and it holds up the shape of the bodice, while I can drape on the very fragile, very beautiful and very flowy fashion fabric. And that was my objective on constructing the bodice. And this was the crown piece of the whole dress, because obviously the skirt has some beautiful flowy train, and it has some dust ruffles, which did not really show on the original dress. But guess what? It's not a sheepish copy, it's a remake, and in the remake I can get some artistic liberties, so I'm going to have fucking dust ruffles. You can see this was a challenge. The approximate time of making the dress for me was under 24 hours of working, and I must say I had my highs and lows. In the lows, I was about to set the whole thing on fire. My dear friend Vincent can testify. On my highest, I enjoyed the most making these beautiful decorations on the dress, just finding out where to drape those pearls and making the button on the middle. It was such a pleasure to work with, and I could be so thankful for the person who originally created this dress, because this is a beautiful masterpiece. And stay tuned for the reveal. It's going to hold some, well, surprises.